Hey team! In my last video where I made some pasta carbonara, I had a couple of egg whites left over, and I had very under my breath mentioned that I might make some like French macarons later. So then I had some people asking me, are you gonna make a video making French macarons? French macarons are literally like one of the just most tedious, annoying things to make. That being said, this could go very badly. Now, for anybody who has eaten French macarons before, you know that more often than not, all of the flavor that comes out of a macaron is in the filling. The cookie itself is typically just food coloring. My favorite recipes, however, is a chocolate and peanut butter macaron where you put a bit of cocoa powder in the shell itself to give the cookie a little bit more flavor. So classic macaron recipe is pretty much just almond flour and icing sugar as your dry ingredients. However, I am going to substitute a very small amount of the powdered sugar with cocoa powder. So whip the egg whites with the sugar until they're beautiful and glossy and you have some nice stiff peaks. Now I would say that this next step is like the make or break step when it comes to macarons. There's so many make or break steps. This is like the first big one. And so you are going to slowly add your dry ingredients into your egg whites and you're going to fold them together. Do not overfold, otherwise you will deflate your egg whites and you will have no feed on your macarons. If you underfold, then you're gonna get really hollow macarons, which aren't gonna turn out as nice. But Elisa, how do you know when to stop folding? Excellent question. I still don't really think that I've mastered this. But I know that there is this figure 8 trick. So you can, when you pick up the batter, if you can make a full figure 8 pattern with the batter, then you're typically okay. This is still far too thick and I need to keep folding. So after you're done folding, you take your batter and you scoop it into a piping bag. I got my piping bag from HomeSense because I get everything from HomeSense. But if you don't have a piping bag, then you can just use like a Ziploc bag and cut the tip. I'm going to apologize in advance for my piping skills because I have none. Unfortunately, I only had a star tip, so it's kind of what I had to go with. But we're going to quickly tap the tray just to release any potential air bubbles that might have trapped in there. Now we wait. No, seriously, I mean, you have to wait because if you try putting these in right away, then the tops of them will actually crack. So you have to let them sit out at room temperature for half an hour, sometimes up to an hour, until they form somewhat of a shell or they're dry to the touch when you put your finger on them, because then that way they'll come out nice and smooth. So you can see nice and dry, nothing coming off on my finger. So these are gonna go into the oven at about 300 for 15 to 17 minutes until we can see some nice feet. So while those are baking, we're gonna make our peanut butter filling. Just mixing a half cup of creamy peanut butter with about a couple of tablespoons of softened butter and about a half a cup of icing sugar. So they're okay. Obviously, they are not the smoothest and, you know, a couple cracks. Apparently I didn't wait long enough. And I have a feeling that they might be a little bit hollow on the inside, so I may have underfolded them. I'm also slightly regretting using the swirled tip on my piping bag because I realize that they look like little poop emojis, but it's fine. So then, to each one, we fill them with our peanut butter filling. And there we go. Are they the prettiest things in the world? Absolutely not. But now you know why they're so expensive in the stores. Because A, almond flour is hella expensive. And 2, they are certainly a labor of love. But